We are live here in Zoom Racing League. It's in the middle of a race here in Miami. It's Shry in the lead with Joseph Huerta closely behind him. I'm here, John Ranger with Combined YouTuber Combined. We're in the middle of a stream. There's been a bit of a situation, technical difficulties here on the broadcast. What have we missed so far?
Well, there was at the start of the race there was an incident with a few cars, including the Aston Martin Fakage that's right down there in P13. And also there's a few battles. Big Mama Franco was far behind at some point to try, but he's now caught up again. And also Logan was in a decent position around P6, but he crashed out and caused a VSC a few laps ago. And Leocritus was also spun from a good position as well. So there's been a few incidents this race, as well as a few nice battles. So it's been an interesting race so far, I'd say.
Really interesting to see that we're in the middle of those two races left, and we're seeing the first raindrops actually on screen. I was about to let you know, Combined, in the middle of the race, we were expecting the first couple raindrops to happen, and it's going to be really a short time. So we're seeing a few raindrops here on the onboard cam of Shry here. That could be a play on strategy, but I don't think the rain is going to be hard enough for them to go into full inters. It's not supposed to last long. It's just going to be there to make things a little bit more complicated for them. Shry and Joseph Herrera have not initiated their pit strategies yet, and they're doing alternate strategies. Shry started the race on hards, and Joseph has started on the mediums, and so at the end of the day, Shry might have the better tire advantage, but it'll all be how these guys can be able to keep their car on track on these slippery conditions, and Sector 1 in Miami can be a little bit tricky as well, as long as that tricky, weird corkscrew chicane part in Sector 3. So that'll be interesting to look at. But so far, that's the battle for the championship. At the end of this race, if Shry wants to clinch the championship tonight, he wants a 36-point advantage on Joseph Huerta. So that means
that's not going to happen.
That's not going to happen so far. That would be Big Mama Frank would have to be down on, I think, P9 or P10. And so unless there's a catastrophe that happens, we're going to have an insane finale next week in Qatar, and that's going to be really interesting to look at Combined. And so that's mainly the story so far. If I can permit myself real quick as well, if we go look into the that's the drivers championship and the constructors, look at this. Mercedes is leading by 219 points. Sorry, at 219 points, but only leading by a single point, and it's a tie for 218 points for Red Bull and Haas. That is how close Division 3 is tight up in front, and it is a spectacular season we're having so far, and it promises for the future seasons we're going to have as well here on F123. And there's a sector yellow flag. I believe that is caused by an AlphaTauri Combined.
Yeah, Leocritus, he's had a tough race. He's had a few spins, and obviously got into the incident with Aero earlier, which we missed on the live stream. And he's dropped behind Akage. He's also having a tough race. But yeah, this is I thought that because as soon as there was cloud cover, I thought there might be rain later on, and there's a little bit, but maybe not enough to go onto inches at the moment.
No, it doesn't look like it's going to be necessary. I think the rain is going to stop anywhere between the next 10-15 minutes. Lurkride is coming into the pits. Didn't seem that he had damage on his wing, but we'll see what kind of strategy he goes for. Doesn't look like a wing change. Is he going on? No, he's going on hards. He's really just taking care of applying a strategy here. I think he's well aware there's not enough rain here to change any kind of strategy so far. Nonetheless, the key factor to change into intermediate tires is the fact that the DRS will be deactivated by the race stewards in the game. That's usually the best moment to go into the pits. So far, it is still Shry in the lead. Now he's extended his lead to Herrera by about a second now. Yet he's constantly able to catch up. I don't think he got DRS there, the short DRS section here in the main straight there. And so there's 3 DRS zones in this on this track, and so there's plenty of opportunities for overtaking, as you mentioned, combined. There's been incidents, and if there's been incidents, it's because the drivers were close by to each other.
Yeah, there's definitely been a lot of overtakes. Not right now, though. No one's in DRS right now. It's a bit unfortunate, but yes, this track has a lot of overtaking spots. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like it, but it's actually a very good track for racing.
Yeah,
which is interesting.
Yeah, exactly. The long straights allowing you to catch up to the car in front if you have the DRS. The slipstream is very strong on this game as well. Interesting call here. The Red Bull driver of Cole Cummins, he is going on to intermediates. I believe maybe he thinks the tires are going to be lasting, or the rain's going to be lasting a little longer, as is Jack Fletcher in the Mercedes, in replacement of Joe Goron for the last two races of the season. Jack Fletcher was actually a Division 1 driver in Haas. I guess that's just where we are at in driver's seats. Not having a good race. Definitely not having a good race. P13 here in
he was also
Mercedes.
He was also in an incident as well, so it makes sense that he's gone down there. But yeah, Cole Cummins onto Inters is a very interesting strategy call. Let's see if it works out.
Yeah, I want to make sure you're not too early on the intermediate tires, because Sector 1 is the kind of sector that tends to overheat your tires a little bit. It puts a lot of stress on them. Last week, Division 1 raced in Japan, and this kind of reminds me, not exactly like the Japan S's, but definitely inspired by them. And that makes it a bit complicated tire-wise here, and brings in a lot of wear. So if it's not wet enough, the intermediates don't get to dissipate the heat enough under the wet conditions. They end up overheating, losing their performance, and it's a whole cocktail of no bueno for the intermediate situation there. So we'll see how these drivers fare out. Will the intermediate undercut work for them? That's something we're going to find out in a couple laps. I believe combined, the medium runners are going to be thinking about pitting soon.
Yeah, so Big Mama Frank is one of those medium runners. He started on them as a yellow flag. The Red Bull. Is that Big Mama Frank?
He had a moment. Yeah, he definitely
have a moment.
He did have a moment. He's now nearly 5 seconds behind Schrei. I looked away for half a second there, just getting the news that we're on live here on Discord, and looks like he had a moment, and not out of a sudden, it's the surprisingly quick Labib in P3 who is all over his gearbox. Will he have the opportunity to make an overtake? Down on the inside he goes, and he goes for P2. And Big Mama Frank, Joseph Huerta is a little later on the brakes. I think Labib was very conservative on that move, and both of them are pitting indeed. And so that's going to be a race to keep an eye on for both of these drivers. Rigraff is going to take P2 momentarily, as he's not gone into the pits.
Well, these guys are going to Inters. No, Big Mama Frank's going to softs. Labib is going on to Inters.
Oh my goodness.
Labib is going on to Inters, and Big Mama Frank is on softs.
I've heard in post-race interviews and Division 1 post-race interviews combined, drivers telling us how Labib is such a good engineer and made great calls. I think this may be one of his mistakes. We will find out sooner than later on lap 17 on this race here in Division 3. And on the contrary, if the opposite situation happens and the race does turn into intermediate tire situations, well, Joseph Huerta might be losing out quite a lot, because a couple drivers out there are going on to the Inters. Aero as well. Sinio is also going into the Inters. We have another Haas driver, Kaiser here, Josh Barnsley. He's putting on the mediums, and so it's a whole mix-up of soft versus intermediates that I don't think the drivers really know which tires to take.
Labib is losing a bit of time to Big Mama Frank, so yeah, I think dry tires is the right call here, it seems. So yeah, you're right, Labib probably did make a strategy mistake, as well as Cole Cummins, obviously, on the Inters as well. So actually the Red Bulls have gone different strategies. But yeah, obviously Schrei has dominated the race. He's actually led every single lap so far, I believe. I'm not sure of any pit. No, he hasn't pitted yet. So he's led every single lap. And the championship fight is definitely very close, as you said. I was mentioning it earlier as well, that only 9 points separate them. And if Big Mama Frank beat him, it would only be 2 points separating them into the final round. So that's a very close championship. The final round being one of the new tracks in the game, Qatar. So it's gonna be an interesting one there.
Yeah, I think Qatar. We've heard different kind of comments in regards to Qatar as well. I'm really eager to see what kind of race that'll give us. But yeah, unfortunately, that's not a race I will be able to participate in.
Oh, that's
Next
unfortunate.
week. Yeah, unfortunately, in Division 2, I was really looking forward for it, but look, it's a race at the same time as my girlfriend's birthday, so
Oh yeah, fair enough.
yeah, it's either I race or I die the next morning. So I'm definitely gonna go celebrate her birthday.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Oh gosh. Anyway, Hokage in DRS of Cole Cummins on the hard tires. He's catching on the hard tires to Cole Cummins on inters. So the dry tires are definitely the call, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking, and if you're seeing in the stream the game pausing and unpausing here, and kind of and how quickly I got it back on live here in order to get the stream going. I'm on my second monitor on the team telemetry here. What I'm seeing so far, and if I'm keeping an eye on Labib here, is I'm really looking at the evolution of tire performance through the team telemetry tool we have here. And quite clearly, the softs are significantly quicker than the intermediate tires. And Shry, for the next 10 laps, he's going to go on the medium tires here. Let's keep an eye on Big Mama Frank, who's actually got enough.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to work out for him. He's going to come out on... No, just behind Shry, actually. Turn 1 slowed him down enough.
Oh
and so
my gosh.
he's right back on the chase, though. But at the moment of pitting combined, he was about 4 seconds behind Shry. Now he's
That's
on
what I mean.
softs, and he's gained 3 seconds. He's only a second behind. DRS is still activated, and Shry's tires are definitely still cold. And so we're going to see a lot of good racecraft from those two drivers, I assume. It's going to be an interesting one. And here in DRS, Shry's going to go. Let's see how much he can catch up. Frank is going to go to Shry here. And
Yeah, this is going to be very interesting. There's a high possibility that we have Big Mama Frank winning this race and a 2-point gap between the top 2 of the championship going into the final round. There's a high chance that is a spin for Big Mama Frank. As an
Combined.
NVA.
Why are you
Whoops.
cursing everybody like that? Again.
I said there was a chance. I didn't say it was going to happen.
Well, that it happened, and so quite obviously, I think Joseph Huerta got a little bit too excited here, absolutely wanting to
Yeah.
get in front of him, and yeah, that didn't work out, unfortunately.
Locked the rears. He locked the rears out of the chicane to yeah, just lock the rears. That's what that happened there.
Now he's behind NV, who has not pitted yet, so he's still going to have the advantage on him. He's going to try to go on the inside there in turn 1. That's not going to work for him. He had to back out of it. And a little bit of rear wheel spin there for NVA, but it's a really tricky part here to overtake. And Big Mama Frank there in the Red Bull is putting all sorts of pressure on the outside. He's going to go, and he gets the inside line on the next corner and finally makes the overtake happen there. What could have been a risky maneuver was made in a very safe manner. But now, with 9 laps to go, unless Joseph Huerta is able to catch up a full second per lap to the Haas driver in front of him, it's going to go on in the next round and the final showdown. But the point difference is going to be a lot more significant between the two drivers.
It's gonna be it's gonna be 16 points.
Yeah, if I take a look real quick here, let's get the stream up. There we go. Yeah, currently it's a 9-point difference. So if your math is correct, you're saying 16 points, right? Pretty sure that would be the points difference. A lot of mathematics we gotta keep an eye on here. And there's a bit of a battle in the back. NVA is starting to lose some grip there. His tires are 19 lap old, and Rigraff is all over the back of the Ferrari driver. He's going to go on the inside into the turn 18, and he does. Oh, there's a contact there. He kind of pushes NVA into the wall there. My goodness. And NVA is forced to go into the pits. He probably has damage. And
Oh,
a 5
step.
second time penalty. Oh, that is
Yeah.
a big no-no for Joseph. Sorry, for Rigraff.
Not a
Unfortunate
good
there.
race for Ferrari at all because Logan crashed out
Oh,
and then V8 just got damaged. As there's a
this-
yellow flag. Williams has spun. Jeff, I think, at the back.
It
He's
is
spun.
Jeff. Looks like a spin. I don't see a lot of debris. A full intact wing so far. So a lot of spinning we're seeing in with the Division 3 drivers and incidents, but no damage, no safety cars or virtual safety cars. And there it is. I cursed Jeff this time. Now he has a wing, a piece of his wing on the wall. His tires are most probably overheated.
Well,
He is very, very slow, and that looks like, oh yeah, even Shry had a bit of an oversteering moment turning out of, I believe that is turn
Well,
17.
it's 1-1 then. In the cursing thing,
Yeah,
1-1.
yeah, that's, my goodness. It is that kind of stream between you and I combined once again.
Still better than Hungary.
Yeah, Hungary was something else. And, oh, is that another moment or issue happening? Look at this. Rigraff
You know
is in
what?
front of Big Mama Frank.
You know what though? It's wet. The track is wet now. Intermediate tire runners are coming back. Jack Fletcher has just passed Leocritus on the dry tires. And he's on
That'll be
inters.
interesting to keep an eye on that. So the difference in gap, let's keep an eye on Jack Fletcher on the inters compared to
Cole
Josh
Cummins as
Barnsley
well.
in front of him. Just Cole Cummins. He's got 13 seconds behind Leo Hudson, though. I think we can keep a
True.
closer gap to Fletcher and Barnsley here. The 1 second gap, there's still DRS that is activated from what I'm seeing, yeah, because Leocritus behind him has got DRS. And so Jack Fletcher might have the opportunity to probably, I would assume, through sector 1 to the slower corners, probably have a little bit more grip than the dry tire runners and be able to make a couple positions. We're seeing Leocritus going a little bit slippery in the back there, trying his best to get on the throttle, but yeah, the grip for the slick runners is getting less and less as we go on.
Those hard tires are so bad. So bad for Leocritus.
He's going to want to get off of them as quick as possible, but with only 17 laps to go, it's maybe the better idea to, the better decision to keep him on and try to suffer his way through the rest of the race there. But that's P11 so far for Leocritus.
Jack Fletcher, DRS now.
He's gained
Off
about
the
3/10 so far in that first sector, so he will have DRS. And Kaiser in front of him, Josh Barnsley, was very wide off that line as well into turn 6. And so didn't have the best top end speed going into that corner. And now we're seeing the time dwindle between Fletcher and Barnsley, two very long time drivers here in ZRL, even longer than I have been, I believe. Jack Fletcher, an ex-Division 1 driver and I believe champion as well, way back then. And oh, it's a bit of a situation for Haas driver. He's cut across the chicane there, had absolutely no grip, and that is Jack Fletcher ahead of him. And does he also have the DRS, or is it back on Josh? Gonna see that in just a second. Yeah, the Haas has got the DRS wide open this time. But yeah, very clearly we could tell Fletcher has got the pace going for him on those intermediates. It is working. I don't know what's going on, but it looks like Big Mama Frank's race is going backwards more than anything else. Ever since the rain has begun, he's on 6-lap old soft tires. He's pushing very hard with those soft tires. Barely has got any battery left to go, and he's lost a position to Rigraff. So instead of having a 16-point difference between P1 and P2 in the drivers' championship, we might be looking at a difference of, I believe, if my math is right, 19 points. And that could be a significant difference, as next week will be the grand finale in Qatar. It's a couple battles heading around back. Labib has also lost a couple positions. He was running P3 at some point. I don't know what happened with him. I think he went on intermediates and then changed ideas. So he went on the softs this time. And
I was
what was that?
I was muted.
I
was muted accidentally. Yeah, I was talking and I didn't.
I figured you were muted, so eventually you'd figure it out.
I was like, why did I get interrupted? Oh, I'm muted.
Yep. Yeah. Nobody heard anything that you have said so far. But go ahead. Let me give you some time there to explain what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, I was saying the 19 points is a pretty decent advantage with one more round to go. 19 points in this league is around a 6th place gap, so
yeah,
it's a decent gap.
Not only that, Ben and the McLaren behind. He's having a good race to the point where when I began my intervention in regards to Big Mama Frank, we had a 4-second difference between him and the McLaren. Now it's down to 2.3, and it is really going down. It's at 2.2. I'm wondering if Joseph has got damage on his front wing.
So Ben started in P10. He's not had the greatest of seasons, but if we don't try not to curse him again, but he might be off for a podium here.
It might be, and you're correct in saying Ben has not had the greatest of season. It's been difficult for McLaren as a whole. This could be the feel-good race for them. I mean, as it sits now, P4 for Ben would be absolutely spectacular. If he gets on a podium and we get to have him in a broadcast, I'd be really excited to see how he feels about his race. And I mean, he is catching up to Joseph Huerta so quick right now. He's at 1.8 seconds, and eventually be into the DRS zone and within the DRS time, within the 1 second gap. But there's only 4 laps to go, so it's gonna be an interesting race there. And I believe Jack Fletcher just got by Arrow in P10, and so Jack Fletcher's in P9. He's got the intermediates. Arrow's got the newer mediums, and Fletcher gets by him. Oh, actually, Arrow got by Josh Barnsley in the Haas. So the Haas driver, his race has been going a little bit more backwards than anything, but he was the first one to pit for the medium tires as well.
Oh yeah, so he's caught up now. 1.1 seconds. Ben to Big Mama Frank. Big Mama Frank could not even be on the podium here. But this will be even worse for him. So what is that? Would it be 19 if he gets P3? If he gets P4, it'll be 20 something. 22 maybe?
I think 22. Yes.
Wow.
Because P2 is 28, P3 is 25, and P4 will be 22 points. Well, a little bit of a rear spin there for Ben. Able to catch it. Yep. Yeah, but definitely he caught that snap that cost him a couple tenths there, which he's catching up rather quickly. Both drivers are not being conservative whatsoever in regards to their battery usage, which could be a determining factor for a potential overtake by the end of this race.
Big Mama Frank has been juicing the entire time, the entire race. He's low on battery the entire race pretty much, so he's pushing a lot to catch Shry, and then it's just not come back. His battery's just not come back.
Is it just that the softs are dropping out?
Ben has been saving a little bit. He's still above 10%.
It doesn't seem like he had DRS. He was really close to getting DRS. I think he's going to get into the next DRS zone. But what I'm wondering, Combined, is it the soft tires were not holding up? Are they prematurely being worn? Are they overheating potentially, which I doubt under the rain conditions? Usually the rain helps cool down the tires, but maybe they're just not activated with enough heat to get all the grip that he wants, because the difference in grip and we're seeing between Frank and Ben, there it is. It is rather significant, and Ben is going to have the DRS to bring him up to Big Mama Frank. Big Mama Frank has been using all his batteries so far. Is Ben going to be careful about this when he's still got 2 laps of racing to go?
But there's no pressure. He's got 12 seconds behind. He's safe from anyone else right now, so he needs to stay calm.
This could be the race of a lifetime for Ben here in Division 3. He's got the opportunity looking at the inside line. He's probably just playing a little bit of mental games there with Big Mama Frank, just making sure his orange McLaren is well visible in the Red Bull's mirrors there. Making sure that Big Mama Frank feels that pressure. This is to keep an eye on with 2 laps to go. We're at lap 27 of 29. Schreisen the lead, 15 seconds ahead of Rigraff. He's down in the back straight, going down towards turn 18. But what we're keeping an eye on now is the final podium position, which will have a significant impact on the championship. It is Ben versus Joseph Huerta, McLaren versus Red Bull.
And we also have Leo Hudson has caught up to the back of MVA as well as the 2 guys on Inters are now pitted for softs. Jack Fletcher and Cole Cummins are now pitted for softs.
Yeah, well, it's not raining anymore, by the way.
Yeah, it just stopped. It was never even good for Inters. It was so weird. No one on Inters. Oh, and Leo Kairos has crashed out
Oh my goodness, and that happened where?
in the pit lane.
In the
I
pit
think.
lane. Yeah, it looks like he DNF'd, I believe. I believe Lucretius just switched because he's 2 laps old on the intermediates, right? And so he's out. He's DNF'd his race. He's going to finish P14 once the Williams gets past him.
As here comes Leo Hudson on the back of MVA. He's going to go for that position to P5, and he does it. There he goes, into the hairpin. Gets into P5, but MVA broke a little bit later there. He'll get DRS, though, onto the pit straight. And he's going to come back into turn 1. Maybe. Side by side through turn 1. Leo Hudson's the inside line. MVA goes around the outside. But the Mercedes holds on.
Wow.
So P5 for Leo Hudson.
Very difficult to get by NVA. He's a really good driver in regards to defending there. But Leo Hudson had to play a little bit of elbows there, get his elbows out and get past NVA, and he does so. They're overlapping a Williams driver that's ghosted currently.
Here comes Ben. He's close enough to bring on Frank. He's going down. He's going on the inside. Oh, so one more opportunity, or actually no, a couple more opportunities because there's 2 laps to go for Ben to try and take this podium place. This will be a historic day for McLaren if he does it.
Absolutely, and I think the move is going to be made here. Oh, he kind of taps the wall a little bit, and so that kind of hinders this opportunity there. So we might have a final lap chance to go for an overtake there. Big Mama Frank is trying to break the toe a little bit there. Frank has got no battery, but on the braking they go. Will Ben get on the inside? He goes for the switchback here.
He's got a great exit.
Not as much. It looks like Mama Frank is able to really get the throttle on and get as much grip as possible. In the back, it's NVA that got his position back again on Leo Hudson. So we got pair battles going on between NVA and Hudson. Ben versus Joseph as well.
Yes, yeah, MVA got back past for that P5, but he has a penalty anyway, so Leo Hudson will get P5 anyway.
Yeah, definitely on track is great battles there, but now it's all about this final lap battle. Trying to see if Ben is going to be able... Yeah, he's going to have 2 DRS zones. Maybe the final DRS zone is this better opportunity, but he went on the battery, so I think he's thinking of using the DRS over here to maybe make his overtake move, and we're going to see him go.
He's going to get it. He's going to get it.
He's trying to go on the outside and taps the wall.
He kind of squeezed him there. Big Mama Frank kind of squeezed him there.
A little bit of hesitation from Ben, though, because...
Wants to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like... Interesting... That's why I would hesitate to try to go for the overtake on that corner. Schrei is about to... Actually, Schrei has just finished the race, so he's won the Miami Grand Prix. Rigraff is going to come in P2. He's around turns 18. And it looks like Ben is unable to make the move work on...
yeah, he's not
Big
good,
Mama Frank.
unfortunately.
He was
a nice try, though.
But he's going to keep it clean there. So unfortunately for him, he didn't take the opportunity that was given to him earlier and tap the wall. Maybe a slight little bit of damage, but that is going to be an exciting finish for those 2 drivers. Joseph Huerta is in P3, Ben in P4.
They're side by side coming to the final corner. It's going to be a run to the line.
It's a drag race.
MVA gets ahead, but he has a penalty, so Leo Hudson will get that place.
Yeah, officially NVA crosses the line before. However, indeed, because of those penalties, that's going to cost him.
Well,
Luckily
so
for him,
Big
only
Mama
one
Frank-
position. 8 seconds of penalties costing him only one position.
Crucially for Big Mama Frank, he gets that podium, holds off Ben in those final laps. A good drive from Ben though, very good drive for P4. Great points for McLaren.
Yeah, I think he had the opportunity to go for P3 multiple times, but I think the pressure may have got to him a little bit. Jack Fletcher, who robs the fastest lap. I don't know who had it before him, but Jack Fletcher is going to have fastest lap in this race as he finishes P10. Nonetheless, what an exciting finish for Ben in the McLaren. We've not seen a McLaren so far up, other than maybe than Cam Bourne, if I remember correctly, in Division 1. Nathan Doan had a couple podiums as well in Division 2, but in Division 3 was really difficult for McLaren, and that is a hefty load of points for them. They're going to be really happy with that.
Yeah, so crucially for Shry, he takes the win in the Miami Grand Prix. Big Mama Frank holds on to that podium place, so the gap going to that final race in Qatar is going to be 19 points.
Yeah, that's what we're
So
looking
pretty
at right
solidly.
now. Ben, well, first things first, obviously Shry and Mama Frank is going to be 19 points the difference. Rigraff being P2 is actually going to put the fight to Big Mama Frank, giving their points the difference. So Rigraff is still in the fight for potential P2, or if a catastrophic situation happens, maybe even for the championship. Mathematically is not out yet.
Rigraff is part of it too? Huh.
Yeah, he's statistically
he
part of
is.
it, but it's a bit of a long shot. Let's just go down the standings real quick. Shry, Rigraff, Joseph Ferreira, Ben, Leo Hudson with a P5, NVA with a P6. Labima, a little bit disappointing for him. It's a P7 for him. His teammate, Arrow, after being involved in an incident and coming back into the race, is P8. Josh Barnsley for starting P11, gained 2 positions for P9, and the Haas, Jack Fletcher in P10, Cole Cummins P11, Hokage Roldy P12, Jeff in P13, Leo Kreitis in P14, and DNFs for Logan PSQ and Chunk.
Yeah, so despite the amount of incidents, there was only 2 VSCs. There was no proper safety car that race. So, yeah.
Yeah, really good drive from the Division 3 drivers. We're going to be able to have Shry on with us. We're going to be able to have Rigraff and Big Mama Frank. Let's see, NVA there too. Rigraff, Shry is there.
MVA wants an interview. Interesting.
I don't know if he just went there to talk with the guys, or we'll just see if Frank will be getting in with us. I'm probably pretty sure he's still chatting with the Red Bull boys.
No, he's by himself. I don't know why I can see the Rebel chat, but
Well,
he's by himself.
Yeah, normally we could see it. Oh, there he is. All right.
He's in now.
So we'll be able to bring him in combined. We'll go as our usual interview planning, I would assume, our schedule. Well, I'll ask him the first question. You ask him your question, and I'll top it off with his interview, and so on and so forth. We go for our 3 podium finishers. It's a Big Mama Frank and a Red Bull P3. It looked like at some point during the race you were fighting for the win, and in the end you were fighting for your podium position with the McLaren just chasing you down. How did that race feel?
It sucked. Mostly. It's just... I mean, everything that could kind of... Just a lot of small little things kind of got in the way. Like whatever happened turn 1 gave Shry a huge jump on everyone, and then I had to catch up with him, and then I was just doing too many things at once and kind of missed my breaking point at one point and just kind of went off track. And then since I was so far back after that. I wasn't sure. It didn't seem like the weather was getting. I couldn't tell if the weather was getting worse. Really, it was just progressing really slowly. So I pit pretty early for softs to try to catch Shry when he pit, and I did. It's just the track just kept getting worse and worse. I was just on the wrong tire.
Go ahead, Combine.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Sorry. Yeah, it was an unfortunate race for you. But you still got the podium at least, so a good positive from that. You held off the McLaren, he had a great drive. Ben had a great drive, getting P4.
Yeah, he did.
So yeah, at least you held him off. But yeah, it's gonna be a tough finale. You're 19 points behind your championship rival going into the last round.
Yeah,
It's
it's
gonna be
pretty
fun.
doomed. So,
Yeah,
and
But
it's
yeah.
just-
still an okay result, regardless.
yeah.
Frank, it's before I don't want to go too far, but I've got to ask you the question because that's usually by the time we start asking these kind of questions. It's you had the race in Miami. Next week is in Qatar. Before you know it, it's the end of a season and the beginning of a new one. What are your plans and objectives racing wise in JRL? Do you know if you're moving up to Division 2? Are you going to stay in Division 3 and keep racing, or what is going on with that?
I'm not sure what the plan is for the future. My rating isn't super high, so I'm not. I guess it'll depend on how many people we have for next season, and just kind of where everything goes. So I'm not sure where I'm going to be totally honest. But I'm definitely going to keep racing.
Sounds fair. Well, officially, even though maybe it hurts your chances tonight, but quite officially, we've seen dramatics in final races. Just to remind you, in Coda, Jeffrey Lawler versus Hudson Poole, we've seen quite some crazy events happening there. So it's not over for you yet. We still have one final race. It's Qatar. It's a new track. It's a new track for everybody. Incidents, situations can happen. You could get lucky, like you could get unlucky. So it'll be an interesting finale race tomorrow. Mathematically, you're still in it. We will see you next week, Big Mama friend.
Yeah, look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely, thank you.
Yep. See ya.
All right, we're gonna bring in our P2 finisher, Rigrath, Indy Aston Martin, who looked like he had a lot better pace through the second half of this race. Wasn't phased at all by the rain. Rigrath, how did you find your race?
Yeah, basically exactly how you said. For some reason, no pace on the first stint on the mediums, but for some reason on slicks in the rain, it seemed to work for me. So, yeah, I just stayed with it, kept it on track, and was able to come back through the field.
Yep. Nice. Good drive again. You beat one of the championship contenders as well, so it was a pretty good race for you. Obviously, me being Aston Martin driver, that's good for our points.
Yeah, yeah, turn one was hectic. That's what I was telling Shry. I was like, I didn't know halfway through lap one that it was Hokage who had hit everybody.
Hokage hit you?
That's what he said, yeah.
Oh no! Oh no!
So that was funny,
Oh.
but
No.
yeah.
Interestingly enough, and we're gonna have to calculate it at all, but you being in that P2 position compared to Big Mama Frank, who actually got P3, I believe you've closed the gap to 18 points between you and him. Statistically, mathematically speaking, you're not out of the Drivers' Championship, although maybe a bit of a long shot with a Shry. Are you realistically aiming for your P2 in the Drivers' Championship, and if you get really lucky, maybe even P1?
Yeah, that's definitely the goal. Yeah, I'll probably go into the last race, hopefully with more practice than I have at any race, and try to do something special.
Yeah, as I mentioned to Big Mama Frank, anything is possible. I remember Coda, Jeffrey Lawler versus Hudson Poole a couple seasons back. With the sprint race, it was very, very hectic kind of
Oh, yeah.
race. So yeah, anything could happen in that kind of situation, most definitely. Rigraff, congratulations, P2. I believe that's your best finish so far this season. So you're keeping the best for last, obviously. It'll be 28
Yep.
points for you. You had a podium in Monza as well by finishing P3. So best finish for you this season. There's only one thing you haven't done this season. That is win a race, which you could possibly do in Qatar. Have a good one, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Oh my god, I can't believe the Aston Martins hit each other. I mean, I probably did see it, I just didn't realize.
It's something that I've seen happen between the Alpines, between the AlphaTauris, now the Aston Martins this season. So yeah, and I don't know if it's because of the new draft model or whatever happened there. Most definitely as a situation that's happened between teammates. The competition is fierce out there on track. Speaking of competition that was fierce, it looks like Shirai had almost no competition at the second half of this race. Having Big Mama Frank behind him, close to his DRS for quite a while, and then suddenly he was gone and he was looking backwards. Ever since that moment, Shirai, you were about 15 seconds ahead of your closest competitor. How do you keep a cool head knowing you are in full control of your situation, and most probably for the Drivers' Championship as well?
It turned out to be a much better race than I expected. Obviously, the contact between, I think it was Okage, Rigraff, and Big Mama in the first turn, it kind of let me drive away with it, and I think Big Mama Frank used a lot of his tires to get back into my DRS. I think once that happened, it was kind of more prolonging it until the rain came, and then the rain never came, or at least not enter rain, so it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good drive, and definitely a crucial win for that championship. You're 19 points ahead now.
Oh,
So
awesome.
should be comfortable from here unless there's absolute catastrophic happens.
We'll see. I love Qatar, so that's this track is probably my least favorite we did all season. So I
Yeah,
love
Qatar is definitely a good track.
Yeah.
Definitely nice and flowing.
I don't know if I've done a league race there yet, so we'll see how that goes. Excited though.
It's gonna be very interesting. Yeah, it's a new track to the game, so yeah, it's gonna be very interesting.
Well, I just had a great race. It was a nod, gave me a great. He's in my ear the whole time, helped me out through it, so it was good.
Oh yeah, he's a good team principal.
Yeah, and I want to shout out my teammate too for being a solid P9 for us, outscoring both Mercedes and Red Bull this week. So happy about that as well.
Yeah, Barnsley did a good race. I believe he finished P10 or maybe P11, but no,
I think it was
P9.
9.
Yeah, he started P11 and finished in P9. That's right. So you know, progression for him and the Haas, and those are crucial points that is needed in a very, very close battle for the constructors. Shirai, you mentioned earlier today that your focus is more the constructors championship than the drivers championship, and next week is going to be one of the races. I think the race of your career, basically, in ZRL. I think it's clear that with your third win this season, you're very much capable of winning races and probably making the jump to Division 2 for at least next season. But there's still a lot of unfinished business in Division 3.
I was a little bit irked that I got moved down to Division 3 last season, so to show them why I should be back.
That is what motivates us drivers to get better and better. That is what motivates Shirai to go for the Drivers' Championship next week. Congratulations again on your win, and we will see you next weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Combined, I can't stress it out enough how Qatar is going to be a fun and exciting race next week. In the constructors, nothing is won. Mercedes versus Red Bull versus Haas. We're going to see we did this week what are the total points tallies, but that is an interesting battle going on. McLaren may be in the position to get back to not finish in the bottom 10, with Williams having a bit of a difficult end of the season as well, with Ben's P4 finish there. So there's battles from top to bottom of the league and top and bottom of the standings from the constructors and the drivers. It's a three-way fight between Shirai, Big Mama Frank, and Rigraff. Although it's closer of a fight between Shirai and Frank than it is with Rigraff. What are your expectations for Qatar next week?
Definitely going to be a great fight for that championship. obviously it's pretty clear that Stry's probably going to win it, but I mean anything can happen, of course. So yeah, Qatar is going to be a very interesting race because no one really knows the track that well, because it's a new track on the game. So, and not sure if anyone knows the strategies either. So it'll be a mixed up one.
Yeah, practice is
definitely
going to
gonna
be
be
crucial
stressed.
this week, isn't it? If you don't practice with this track and it's a new track and you've not, you don't know what the strategies are, you're going to be putting yourself in trouble.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that'll be something to watch for next week. Division 3, Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Zero will be live to present you this race. Thank you, Combine, for joining me for this broadcast, which we kind of jumped into a little bit earlier than midway through the race. But it was much fun. We finished tie 1-1 in Broadcaster's Curse as well. Much better than Hungary, so next time let's keep it a little bit lower than that. But yeah, thanks for being here with me. And Division 2 is gonna be underway in just a little over 20 minutes, 10 p.m. Eastern. That is also an interesting battle going on there, as much as on drivers' side and the constructors. So stay tuned, everybody. Division 2 coming up next. See you next
Yep.
week.
See ya.